What's the number one item flying off shelves in 2025? Not food, not ammo, but something you probably have under your sink right now. And here's why it matters. In the next crisis, it could be worth more than cash. Stick around because I'm revealing the 11 cheapest household items you can hoard, trade, and survive on before they're gone. Hey everyone, I spent the last 3 weeks analyzing 2025 supply chain reports, FEMA bulletins, and hundreds of real barter logs from prepper forums. And what I found is shocking. Everyday household items are becoming de facto currency. In this video, you'll discover the 11 ultra-cheap, non-perishable staples already being traded across the US for food, fuel, and favors. Trust me, you don't want to miss 7th. Have you seen shortages or sudden price hikes in your area? Drop your observations in the comments. I read every one. Number 1. Bleach. Forget expensive filters or high-tech purifiers. When the taps run dirty or stop altogether, the simplest solution is probably already in your laundry room, plain, unscented bleach. Not the splashy ocean breeze kind, not the gel, just basic household bleach with 5 to 8 sodium hypochlorite. That's it. That's your lifeline. In a real water crisis, this $2 bottle can turn murky ditch water into something you can safely drink. The EPA knows it. Their updated 2025 emergency guidelines list unscented bleach as a primary method for disinfecting water at home, right alongside boiling. And they're not being overly cautious. So far in 2025, the CDC has reported a 68% increase in boil water advisories compared to all of 2024. That's not a glitch. That's collapsing infrastructure, aging pipes, and climate-driven contamination hitting communities from Texas to Maine. People are scrambling. Shelves are clearing. And those who stockpiled bleach months ago, they're not just safe, they're trading it. One Reddit user in Ohio swapped 2 unopened jugs for a full case of canned beans last month. Bleach doesn't just purify water. It sanitizes surfaces, kills mold after floods, and decontaminates medical tools when soap and hot water aren't enough. But here's the catch. It degrades over time. Heat and sunlight zap its power fast. So store it in a cool, dark spot. Under the sink is fine, but not next to the water heater. And don't just toss it in the back of the closet and forget it. Mark your calendar, rotate your supply every 6 months. Buy a new bottle, move the old one to cleaning duty, and keep a fresh one ready for emergencies. Because when the next alert flashes on your phone, do not drink tap water. You won't have time to run to the store. You'll need it all ready in your hands. Number 2, Ziploc bags, freezer grade. Sounds boring? Maybe. But tell that to the mom in rural Kentucky who swapped 1 box of freezer-grade Ziploc bags for 3 jars of home-canned green beans during last month's ice storm. No joke. While neighbors scrambled to keep food from spoiling in powerless freezers, she stayed calm because she'd sealed everything in heavy-duty bags that kept moisture out and smells in. Freezer-grade bags aren't your flimsy sandwich kind. They're thicker, tougher, and built to last. In a blackout, flood, or evacuation, they become your go-to for protecting dry goods, portioning rations, or even storing clean water. Spill-proof, leak-resistant, and shockingly versatile. Need to keep matches dry? Bag it. Want to barter coffee grounds without making a mess? Bag it. Running low on containers? Rinse, dry, and reuse the same bag 3 or 4 times. Something desperate neighbors will notice fast. On Facebook prepper groups across Appalachia and the Midwest, these bags are quietly becoming a barter staple. Not because they're fancy, but because they solve real problems with zero fuss. And right now, they're still dirt cheap. 120 count box costs less than $5 at most big box stores. But here's the thing, don't wait. During the February 2025 supply crunch, several Dollar General locations reported freezer bag shortages. Not from hoarding, but from everyday families suddenly realizing how fragile their food storage really was. Grab them while they're plentiful. Store them flat to save space, and never underestimate the power of a simple seal when chaos hits. Number 3, duct tape. Let's talk about the original MacGyver tool, the one item that's been patched onto survival kits since World War II. Duct tape isn't just sticky. It's a lifeline. TikTok survivalists aren't joking when they call it gray gold. And in early 2025, that nickname became real currency. One viral post from a prepper in Amarillo, Texas, showed him trading a single roll of heavy-duty duct tape for a full week's supply of instant coffee. 8 packets worth over $12 at current prices. Why? Because when your shelter leaks, your boot sole peels off, or your water container cracks, duct tape doesn't just help, it saves. It seals drafty windows during winter blackouts. It patches torn tarps into instant rain shelters. It holds together broken gear, splints makeshift medical braces, and even repairs fuel lines in a pinch. In urban settings, it's used to silence squeaky doors or camouflage gear. In rural zones, it's wrapped around fence posts, tool handles, and livestock pens. The best part? It's cheap, compact, and lasts for years if kept out of direct sunlight. A standard 60-yard roll costs under $4 at Walmart or Home Depot, but during the February 2025 Midwest ice storms, people were offering $15 for one on Facebook swap groups. Why? Because functionality beats flash every time in a crisis. And unlike batteries or electronics, duct tape never runs out of power. It just works. Right now, most of us have a half-used roll buried in a junk drawer. But smart preppers are stocking up on the real stuff. Gorilla Tape, T-Rex, or military-grade variants with stronger adhesive and woven backing. Store it upright in a cool, dry place. Heat weakens the glue over time. And don't just buy one, buy 5, because when your neighbor's tent rips at 2 a.m. in a downpour, that roll won't just fix fabric. It might just buy you a favor, a meal, or even a night of shelter in return. In 2025, trust isn't just built on promises, it's held together by gray tape. Number 4, baking soda. Don't let its humble box fool you. Baking soda is a quiet powerhouse. It's not just for fluffy pancakes or chocolate chip cookies. In a pinch, it cleans scorched pots, scrubs mold off walls, freshens stale air, neutralizes sour milk smells in your fridge, and even soothes heartburn when antacids vanish from shelves. During the 2025 pharmacy shortages, triggered by supply delays from Canada and Mexico, hundreds of people turned to this white powder as a backup remedy. And it works. But here's what's flying under the radar. Baking soda is disappearing from store shelves faster than ever. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, its price jumped 22% between November 2024 and March 2025 alone. Why? Surging demand, not from bakers, but from preppers, off-gridders, and families tired of chemical cleaners that cost 3 times as much. Right now, you can still grab a 4-pound bag for under $3 at stores like Costco, Sam's Club, or even Walmart. But that window is closing. In parts of Arizona and Michigan, local Facebook groups have already started bartering. One user traded 2 boxes for a jar of honey and a roll of aluminum foil last month. Baking soda never spoils if kept dry. Store it in an airtight container away from moisture and it'll stay effective for years. Use it to deodorize boots after flood evacuations, clean toothbrushes when running water's questionable, or even extinguish small grease fires. It's non-toxic, multi-use, and weighs almost nothing, making it perfect for both stockpiling and trading. And unlike flashier survival gear, nobody thinks to hoard it until it's gone. So grab a few extra boxes next time you're out. Tuck them in your pantry, because in a world where $6 milk is normal, a $2.79 bag of baking soda might just become your most traded asset. Number 5, alcohol wipes or isopropyl alcohol. When the 2025 flu wave tore through nursing homes in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, it didn't just fill hospitals, it emptied shelves. CVS and Walgreens reported critical shortages of alcohol wipes and 70% plus isopropyl alcohol across all 3 states by late February. Not because of panic buying alone, but because once power grids flickered and water pressure dropped, basic hygiene collapsed. Suddenly, washing hands wasn't an option. And in that vacuum, a single pack of alcohol wipes became more valuable than candy or batteries. This isn't about convenience, it's about survival. Without running water or reliable soap, alcohol-based disinfectants are your frontline defense against infected surfaces, shared tools, or even first aid supplies. A cut treated with dirty hands can turn deadly in days, especially when antibiotics are rationed. That's why preppers in rural Appalachia are now stockpiling gallon jugs of isopropyl alcohol alongside their water filters. It sanitizes needles, cleans phone screens used for emergency comms, disinfects doorknobs in shared shelters, and even fuels small alcohol stoves in a pinch. Right now, travel-sized white packs still sell for under $2, and bulk bottles of 91% isopropyl alcohol go for $5 to $7 at pharmacies or hardware stores. But don't wait. During the March 2025 Hygiene Crunch, several Dollar Tree locations limited sales to 2 bottles per customer after a single buyer cleared out entire pallets. Store alcohol in a cool, ventilated area away from flames. It's flammable, but keep wipes in your go bag, your car, and your barter kit. Because when the next outbreak hits, or the next blackout lasts weeks, you won't just want clean hands. You'll need them to stay alive. And in that moment, a tiny wipe won't feel like a luxury. It'll feel like armor. Number 6, salt, bulk, iodized, or kosher. Salt isn't just a spice. It's history, medicine, and money rolled into one tiny crystal. Centuries ago, Roman soldiers were paid in salt. In sub-Saharan Africa, slabs of it bought camels and cows. Fast forward to 2025, and salt's power hasn't faded. It's just quieter. In a world where refrigeration fails during blackouts and canned rations get boring fast, bulk salt becomes indispensable. Need to preserve fresh meat after a hunt or backyard harvest? Salt curing is your oldest, cheapest, and most reliable method. No electricity required. Running low on flavor in your emergency meals? A pinch transforms bland beans or rice into something bearable. But here's what most overlook. Salt is also a first aid essential. A mild saline solution, just clean water and salt, can rinse wounds, soothe sore throats, or clean contact lenses when medical supplies run thin. And unlike the $20 Himalayan pink survival salt sold online, plain iodized or kosher salt costs pennies per serving. A 26-pound bag of Morton iodized salt, still under $8 at warehouse stores like Costco or Sam's Club as of April 2025. That's enough to season, preserve, and sanitize for a family of 4 for over a year. Even better, it never expires. Store it in a dry, sealed container. Moisture is its only enemy, and it'll stay perfect for decades. Preppers in Montana and West Virginia have already started including salt in their barter bundles. One Facebook group post from March showed a man trading 2 5-pound bags for a full roll of duct tape and a hand crank radio. Why? Because everyone needs it. But few think to stockpile it until it's scarce. In fact, during the February 2025 Midwest freeze, several rural grocery stores reported sudden spikes in salt sales. Not for roads, but for home food preservation after extended outages spoiled freezers. So skip the fancy stuff. Grab plain, unadulterated, iodized, or kosher salt in bulk. Keep it dry. Keep it hidden. And never underestimate the quiet power of the world's oldest currency. Still white, still cheap, and still worth its weight when everything else fails. Number 7, toilet paper, commercial bulk rolls. Yeah, we laughed in 2020. Empty shelves, memes, toilet paper hoarders. It all felt absurd. But here in 2025, it's not a joke anymore. After the 2024 West Coast port strikes paralyzed shipping for over 6 weeks, the pulp supply chain shattered. Mills couldn't get raw materials, warehouses ran dry, and by January 2025, major retailers like Target and Kroger began limiting toilet paper purchases again, not nationwide, but in key states like California, Oregon, and Illinois. The lesson? TP isn't just about comfort. It's about hygiene, dignity, and disease prevention. In a prolonged outage or displacement scenario, poor sanitation spreads illness faster than hunger. That's why smart preppers aren't stocking the fluffy, quilted kind. They're buying commercial-grade bulk rolls, the kind restaurants and offices use. Thinner? Yes, but also denser, longer-lasting, and far more space-efficient. One commercial roll equals nearly 2 regular ones, and they stack like bricks in a closet or under a bed. Plus, they're cheaper per sheet, often under 1 cent, and easier to trade. On Reddit's r/Preppers, a user in Seattle recently swapped a 96 roll case for 2 gallons of drinking water and a pack of feminine hygiene products during a localized boil-to-water crisis. That's real-world barter value. And unlike food or meds, toilet paper doesn't expire. Store it in a dry, pest-proof container. Moisture and mice are the only threats, and it'll stay usable for years. Right now, you can still find commercial TP at Sam's Club, Costco, or restaurant supply stores like Smart and Final for under $40 per case. But don't wait. The 2025 Pulp and Paper Industry Quarterly Report warns of ongoing fragility in North American supply chains due to labor shortages and climate-driven wildfires near fiber sources. So grab it while it's plentiful. Because when the next disruption hits, and it will, you won't be thinking about memes. You'll be grateful you ignored the eye rolls and stocked up on something so simple, so essential, and so quietly powerful. Number 8, lighters or waterproof matches. Fire isn't just about cooking beans. It's about warmth when the furnace quits. It's boiling questionable water into something safe. It's a flickering light that lifts spirits in pitch-black nights. And in 2025, the simplest way to start that fire, Bic lighters and waterproof matches, is quietly becoming a high-demand trade item. Forget fancy ferro rods or magnesium starters. Most people just need something that works right now, with wet fingers and shaking hands. That's why urban preppers are clearing out dollar store aisles of basic Bic lighters. They're cheap, often 50 cents each. But in a crisis, they're pure utility. One verified post from an Appalachian barter group in eastern Kentucky listed, 5 Bic lighters equal to 1 bag of rice. Not speculation, actual trade. And it makes sense. A single lighter can spark hundreds of flames if used wisely, enough to last months. Waterproof matches like UCO or Collins are even more valuable in rainy or flooded zones. They light on wet wood, survive dunking, and fit in a pocket. During the February 2025 ice storm, several Facebook emergency groups reported people offering canned goods just for one working lighter. Why? Because fire equal to control. Without it, you can't purify water, dry clothes, signal for help, or even melt snow. Store lighters in a sealed bag with a silica packet to prevent fuel evaporation. Keep matches in a waterproof tin. Add a strip of sandpaper inside for reliability. Right now, dollar stores, gas stations, and hardware shops still carry both in bulk. But don't assume that'll last. The 2025 lighter import report shows a 31% drop in overseas shipments due to port delays and resin shortages, meaning supply could tighten fast. So grab a few extra this week. Toss them in your car kit, your bug-out bag, your pantry stash, because when the grid goes dark and your neighbor's shivering in the cold, a tiny flame might be the most generous and valuable thing you can offer. Number 9. White vinegar. Don't let the humble bottle fool you. White distilled vinegar is a stealth survival powerhouse. The USDA's 2025 Off-Grid Living Report revealed something surprising. Vinegar use for cleaning and food preservation jumped by 40% compared to 2023. Why? Because it's cheap, safe, and works when nothing else is available. At less than $2 per gallon at stores like Walmart or Aldi, it's one of the most cost-effective items you can stockpile. And it lasts indefinitely. Unlike bleach or baking soda, vinegar doesn't degrade. Store it in a cool, dark cupboard, and that gallon will still be good 20 years from now. Need to pickle vegetables from your garden to stretch summer harvests through winter? Vinegar's your go-to. Got mold creeping up your walls after a basement flood? Spray it straight, no harsh fumes, no toxic residue. Running low on dish soap? Mix vinegar with water for a grease-cutting cleaner. It even deters ants, softens laundry without fabric softener, and removes rust from tools. And in a medical pinch, diluted vinegar can soothe jellyfish stings, clean minor wounds, or act as a mild disinfectant when alcohol wipes vanish. Preppers in off-grid communities, from New Mexico homesteaders to Michigan cabin dwellers, are now including vinegar in their core barter kits. One user on a Midwest survival forum recently traded 2 gallons for a case of mason jars and a block of lye soap. Why? Because everyone runs out of fancy cleaners fast, but vinegar keeps working. Plus, it's non-flammable, non-toxic, and safe around kids and pets. No special handling, no expiration date, just pure, simple utility. With supply chains still shaky and chemical cleaner prices soaring, some all-purpose sprays are up 35% since late 2024. Vinegar is the quiet winner. So next time you're at the store, grab an extra jug or two. Tuck them away. Because in a world where clean becomes a luxury, a $1.79 bottle of vinegar might just be your secret weapon and your most traded commodity. Number 10, rubber bands. Hear me out. This might be the most underestimated item on this list. Rubber bands? Really? Yes. In a world where every gram counts and improvisation is survival, rubber bands are tiny titans of utility. Need to seal a chip bag so mice don't get in? Done. Bundle kindling for your fire? Easy. Fix a loose hinge, hold a broken eyeglass arm together, or secure a tarp in high wind? Rubber bands make it happen. They're lightweight, silent, and endlessly reusable if not stretched to breaking. And they cost almost nothing. A 1-pound bag of thick, commercial-grade bands runs under $5 and contains over 1,700 pieces. In early 2025, a Reddit user in northern Michigan posted proof of a trade that stunned the prepper community: 100 heavy-duty rubber bands for 50 feet of mil-spec paracord. Why? Because the cord buyer needed them to secure seed packets, organize fishing line, and keep his bug-out bag quiet. Rubber bands don't rattle. They don't rust. They don't expire. Store them in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight, which degrades latex over time, and they'll stay elastic for years. Urban preppers use them to silence carabiners, bundle cash, or mark rotation dates on food cans. Gardeners rely on them to tie plants to stakes. And in barter scenarios, their near-zero weight and massive usefulness make them ideal for trade, especially when people realize they've run out. Dollar stores, office supply shops, and even grocery stores still sell them cheap, but don't wait. During the 2024 postal slowdown, several small towns reported rubber band shortages at local stores, not from hoarding, but from everyday demand outpacing restocks. So grab a few bulk packs, stash them in your glove box, your pantry, your go bag, because when you need to hold the world together, literally, sometimes all it takes is a loop of humble, stretchy rubber. Number 11, bar soap, Unscented, bulk. When the power's out, water's limited, and hand sanitizer's gone, you don't need luxury. You need soap. Not the fancy goat milk lavender kind, plain, unscented bar soap, because when hygiene collapses, disease spreads faster than rumors. In March 2025, Procter & Gamble quietly confirmed a 30% sales surge across the Midwest. Not from TikTok trends, but from preppers, Amish communities, and rural families stocking up after seeing how quickly illness moved through shelters during last winter's grid failures. Bar soap is cheap, compact, and lasts months per person if kept dry. One bar can wash hands, bathe, clean clothes, and even scrub cooking pots. And unlike liquid soap, it won't leak, freeze, or run out with a single pump. Unscented is key. No flowery perfumes to attract mice, raccoons, or insects in storage. A 12-pack of basic white soap bars, like Ivory or store-brand Beauty Bar, still costs under $6 at Walmart or Dollar General. But here's what most miss. Soap is becoming a barter staple. In a verified trade log from an Ohio mutual aid group, one family swapped 3 bars for a bottle of antibiotic ointment and a roll of gauze, because clean skin prevents infection better than any bandage alone. Store bars in a breathable container with a moisture absorber, like rice or silica packets, and they'll stay hard and usable for years. Avoid plastic wrap long term. It traps humidity and turns soap mushy. Right now, shelves are still full, but with rising water contamination alerts and more people living off-grid or in disaster-prone zones, demand is climbing. Don't wait for the next outbreak or evacuation order. Grab a bulk pack today, because in a crisis, staying clean isn't vanity. It's your first line of defense. And sometimes, the simplest bar of soap is the difference between health and hospital. Look, this isn't about building a bunker, it's about leverage. In 2025, the real currency isn't cash, it's trust, necessity, and what you can offer when others have nothing. These 11 items won't break your budget. In fact, you could grab them all for under $50. But in a real disruption, they could feed your family, protect your health, or even secure shelter. And here's the hard truth: supply chains are fraying. Inflation isn't slowing. And the next shock, whether climate, economic, or geopolitical, might not give you a second chance to prepare. If this opened your eyes, even a little, do me a favor, smash that like button. It helps more people see this before it's too late. Comment below, which of these have you seen vanish from shelves? Or what's your secret barter item that nobody talks about? And subscribe, because next week, I'm exposing the 5 items FEMA quiet. Lie recommends stockpiling, but never tells you outright. You won't want to miss it.